Hey, what's up, dudes? What's up, dudes? You are listening to the Bitcoin Bro. I am your Bitcoin Bro. Why am I your Bitcoin Bro? I'm your Bitcoin Bro because I'm the bro in the know. And I'm not, smoked a little too much already. I'm your Bitcoin Bro because I'm the bro in the know. And when I'm not smoking dro, I'm hodling that crypto. You like that, right? We're at the podcast, Space Coast Podcast Studios in sunny Central Florida. I'm from South Florida. I'm so used to saying that. We're at the Space Coast Podcast Studios. We're gonna be doing Bitcoin and Crypto 101. All right, folks. So here's the deal. I'm on Coinbase looking right now. So before we even jump into this pool of fucking cool madness that is cryptocurrency. Of course, I got to do that verification again. That was so stupid. We're going to check out what is going on right now, the price on Coinbase. And you know what? I don't need to do it on my desk laptop there. We're going to take a look real fast, folks. Right now, at this broadcast, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The Bitcoin right now is at 11,700 and it already crossed. It's on its way back. So we're at basically 11,800. Okay, so let's get into it, folks. Bitcoin Bro going to school you on Crypto 101. This is my first full podcast talking to you. You knew I was coming. The MisterJosh podcast, by the way, you're listening to right now. Let's talk about let's start out, what is cryptocurrency? What even is this? Bro, let me tell you. You have to understand that there's two things about fiat currency, and that is that it's taxed, it's regulated, and it's pretty much kept track of to a degree. But even though here we're just printing it out of nowhere and it's not backed by anything, but there's a lot of worry that paper money, what is also known as fiat currency, is going to be worthless. So a long time ago, they told you there was going to be a new world order and that there'd be a one world everything, and a one world currency was always planned. And I think a lot of people thought, like, well, how are you going to do a one world paper currency everywhere? There's no way you can do that. And you're right. There is no way. So here came cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is basically money that's on bandwidth. It's all on the internet. It's all electric money. And as you see with your PayPals and your Cash Apps and your Samsung Pays and your Google Pays and all this other shit, is that you're finding all these alternative ways to have payment methods. Okay, so in a sense, this is where cryptocurrency comes in. You have to understand that this is now going to be the biggest and the best one. And Bitcoin is the granddaddy of all of these currencies. Okay? You have to understand, it's the first one. It's the main one. It's the most important one. Okay? Now, what you may not know is that Bitcoin being the number one, let's take a look here. We got CoinMarketCap. So Bitcoin, pull this up 1 second here. I thought I had it up. So the thing about Bitcoin being number one is that most people that invest in cryptocurrency, this is the main one they're investing in. So just to give you an idea, the amount of money that's in cryptocurrency right now in the world, and one of the things that sold me on it, because you'll say, well, hey, Bitcoin Bro, why did you get into this? You seem like, you just keep it stony, right? I mean, how did you figure all this out? Well, I'm going to tell you how and why. And one of the reasons why was because of what I'm about to tell you right now. The market cap, which means the total amount of money that has been being invested into this market, is $336 billion fucking dollars. Do you understand that? Do you get it? That's the world telling you something. There is $336 billion invested in crypto. Of that, there's a figure they keep. It's called Bitcoin dominance. What is Bitcoin dominance? So Bitcoin dominance is what percentage of the whole market is Bitcoin. Because there's other coins. We're going to get into that as well. There's a whole lot of other coins. The Bitcoin dominance right now, and it fluctuates, is at 62%. That means of the $336 billion fucking dollars I told you about, bro, 62% of that's just in Bitcoin. Pretty crazy, right? The Bitcoin market cap is alone $210 billion. So I said to myself, wait a second here. That's a lot of fucking money, man. Why are so many people putting this much money into this? Then I started noticing that aside from the United States, China, South Korea, and you bet your ass North Korea, because Kim Jong-un already told you he's got a ton of Bitcoin. Don't let that scare you away. Oh, I'll never invest in anything that Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un, I never. Go fuck yourself, man. Stay out the game then. You shouldn't even be. If you think like that, shame on you. It's about money. China, Japan, South Korea, huge hodlers in the crypto market. What's hodl? What's hodl? We're going to get to that. A lot of terms in Bitcoin. All right. So, bro, you got to understand. 62% Bitcoin dominance, $210 billion. China, United States, South Korea, the whole world, mind you, and Japan, putting tons of money in this. I don't know about you. I think them people are smart. And when I say them people, I mean over there in Asia, those 4 countries people. Don't try to hang me on that. Don't try to hang me on that. Ex-wife, Filipino. Now, bro, keeping it real now. Bitcoin. Let's get back to, we talked a little bit. All right, so we hit on cryptocurrency. All right, so what's cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is just a way now. It is a payment method, and it is an investment. It's got 2 purposes. Why do you want to use it right now? For investing. You don't want to spend your crypto. You could. But why would you? If someone said Bitcoin keeps going up and up, right now it's up 7% again. $11,800. Let me tell you that this was at the beginning, just the bounce back alone, and there's a history to all this that we'll get to. But just so you know that at the beginning of a month ago, this was at $4,000, folks, in April. At the beginning of April, Bitcoin was at 4,000. I'm doing this show because I want you to understand that this is a roller coaster going right back up to the moon. Right to the moon, baby, Lambo style. We hit 20,000 with Bitcoin, okay? We hit 20,000. You can bring this up maybe a little bit, brother. Maybe a little bit. The sound? A little bit? I want people to get excited. Thank you. Jesse on the 1s and 2s. So, listen. Bitcoin just made a huge rebound. If you're not paying attention, you gotta fucking look now. You're late already, but you ain't too late because it already hit the 20,000 mark and we're at 11 right now. And just so you know, 3 days ago, it hit 13.5. It dropped back down to 11.5. So it's doing a little correcting of itself. Gotta balance our chi. You know what I'm saying, man? So understand we're in a serious bounce back mode, but we're gonna talk about that too. All right, so it is a roller coaster. Let me tell you, if you've got the faint of heart, if you like putting your money on, a blue chip stock and going slow, IRA, this ain't for you, man. It's not for you. It's going up and down, but I'm telling you, it's going up, 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 up. Now, it is a roller coaster. It is a payment method. You could use Bitcoin on Expedia.com. You can use Bitcoin on other websites that are out there that got the balls to take it. Now, there was talk about eBay, Amazon jumping in, and they probably will. At some point, they will. And this spawned LibraCoin by Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg's basically, as he stole his website, he is now stealing. By the way, Facebook is on, One Hacker Way, One Hacker Boulevard. He's flaunting in your face that he's a hacker. Okay? Not saying anything wrong with that. I'm just letting you know that's what he is. On a bizarre side note, I kick this around. Folks, does this make sense to you? You got two hackers, Mark Zuckerberg, Julian Assange, two hackers, okay? One is going to die for what he did in terms of hacking with WikiLeaks. He was a journalist, and he posted what he posted. And one stole a website, hacked to do it, created a whole system as a hacker, as a coder, and he's one of the richest men in the world. Ain't that fucking nuts? Two hackers, two different worlds. Two of the biggest hackers ever go down in history. Completely different paths. Very bizarre. Marinate on that when you're hitting your next bong hit. So, all right. So crypto, go back. You got Bitcoin, number one in the game. Okay, and cryptocurrency is this digital currency that it transfers very fast. It cuts out the middleman. You can send it to anyone in the world. It is a revolutionary way to transfer funds. All right, I'm giving you a 101. You want to dig into any of these subjects after and get the real meat and potatoes, you know what I mean? You need to know if it's an indica or sativa. You need to know how many crystals are on it. You could dig in on this stuff. I got a lot to go through, so I can't dive into the deep end on all of this because there's so much to cover, and we only got an hour to do it on this podcast, not even an hour, you know? All right, so it's all on the blockchain. The blockchain... And I'm just going to read you a quick description of Wikipedia has. Blockchain is a growing list of records, and they're all linked using cryptography. All right, so it's a language. And each block contains a cryptographic hash of the previous block, a timestamp, transaction, and transaction data as well. So what it basically is it's a ledger. Everything is kind of marked. Okay? And by design, a blockchain is resistant to modification of data. It is an open distributed ledger, there you go, that can record transactions between parties efficiently and verifiable and in a permanent way. Yeah, this ain't like fucking jotting it down on some paper. It's all about the blockchain. Everything you're hearing about blockchain gang, right? Even Chief Keef joining blockchain gang, I heard. Don't quote me on that. Anyways, so... that's the technical end of it. It's the blockchain, okay? You can dig in more on that. It's probably the least interesting thing about all of this, but it is very technical. It's very geeky. It's very dweeby, okay? They think he's a righteous dude. You know what I'm saying, Ferris? So I have a problem with 80s movie quotes randomly inserted in this shit. So you got to roll with me on that. So now, going back to Bitcoin. How many Bitcoin are there? Well, I can tell you right now, it's a finite supply. This is one of the things that makes Bitcoin so valuable. So these coins, and there are other coins, they're called altcoins. A lot of people call them shit coins. Some people just don't believe in them. I am a big believer in Bitcoin first, will never die, will never multiply. It's all about the Bitcoin. That is the number one, and nothing will ever come close to touching it. I don't care what anybody says. Part of why that is because it has a finite circulating supply. There are only 17,700,000 Bitcoin. I'm rounding that number. I think there used to be about 20 million, 21 million, 4 million of them gone out of circulation. A lot of Bitcoin just disappeared. A lot of Bitcoin gets hacked. It's never found. People have them on their computers or in their system somehow, and they're gone. They never get cashed in. It's gone. It's no longer circulating in the supply. So a circulating supply is what's being bought and sold. And they're still making the Bitcoin. You got all the mining. That's where there's a whole subsection of this in how Bitcoin is made. And it's all done through electric on your computer. And it's like a computer that just keeps going and going and going. And it's creating this electric currency over time. And it actually it needs a tremendous amount of electricity and power to do this. So if you're green, you're probably not too wild about crypto mining, I can tell you that. Now, nobody knows who really created Bitcoin. It's been credited to Satoshi Nakamoto, and nobody can find this guy. It's very strange. A lot of people don't think it's a real person, that it's an alias. And then there's this dude, oh man, what's his name? They got that one dude that everyone credits as him. Dorian Nakamoto, it's not him. He looks the part. And then what they did was, which is pretty cool as an homage to Satoshi, for us, a lot of people can't afford a full Bitcoin. By the way, when you invest in it, you don't need to buy a full Bitcoin. There is no such thing as a Bitcoin to buy. It's all fractional decimals. You can buy, you're basically looking at it as what kind of money do you want to spend, and then it's fractioned out and done in that manner. So if you want to buy something that equals out to one full Bitcoin, yes, it is going to cost you $11,800, and you will have what is amounts to one full Bitcoin. Does you no difference. Doesn't matter. You want to accumulate as much as you can. So if that's fractionally, that's not a big deal. And those fractions are in Satoshis, and you can look that up. It's a very interesting 0.00001 kind of thingy there or whatever. It's all bullshit. Doesn't matter much anyways. So going back to Bitcoin itself, 60% supply, huge. 11,800, huge. Okay. Folks, you're missing the boat here. I'm not pitching any particular company. I'm not pitching anything here. Just get yourself onto Coinbase, which is the main exchange, and we're going to go into that right now. And this is where you're going to make your start, okay? And it's not that I'm pitching Coinbase in any particular way, but Coinbase is the biggest American exchange, the best app you can use, and for a newbie, or a noob, as the kids like to say, you need the easiest, simplest method, and that is Coinbase. So if you don't have it, I'll put a link, and so I can get some credit, and this will be your start to the riches, man. Because you will make money with this. If you just got to pay attention to it the same way you pay attention to all the other bullshit going on in your life. You know what I'm saying? The same way you pay attention to your TV shows and your Netflix queue. All right? It's time to make some fucking money, bro. I am your Bitcoin bro. I told you I'm the bro in the know. When I'm not smoking dro, I'm hodling this fucking crypto. You're not getting it. That's why I'm doing this podcast. You're looking at me and I'm like, man, this dude, what does he know, man? He's got the chain and the hat and the glasses indoors, man. What does this guy know? Hey, man, just soak in the information. Soak in the information. I'm going to help you out. Okay? I know what I'm talking about. If you listen to the other shows, my boy Josh on these other shows, man, we got it in our heads, okay? So let me tell you, we got these other altcoins, okay? So let's just say you're like, hey, man, this Bitcoin's it's a lot of money. This Bitcoin's a lot of money, dude. What else is out there to buy? What if I don't want to buy Bitcoin? I want to make some money starting low, getting something else out there, and hope that turns into 11,000, bro. That could happen, right? Well, it can and it can't. First of all, when Bitcoin hit its high before, when it hit that 20,000 mark, I believe there was only 5 coins at that point that had ever gone over $1,000. Okay? So it's a whole different market. Every altcoin has a different situation. Now, a lot of them, they flow up and down based on Bitcoin. All right? A lot of them flow up and down. But a lot of them kind of go on their own measure as well. So here's what you got to figure out. What are these other altcoins I'm talking about? So here's some names that you should familiarize yourself with. You have Ethereum. You have Ripple. You've got Bitcoin Cash, which forked off of Bitcoin and became its own cryptocurrency. You have Litecoin, and I'm reading you these in order of their market cap. So these are the most held coins in volume. Litecoin, EOS, Binance Coin, Cardano, Bitcoin SV, Tron, Stellar. So these are all your altcoins. Now, something like Stellar, that's 11 cents. That will never be $11,000. Okay, so don't get silly here. But what it one day might be is $100. And if at 11 cents you bought 7,000 of these, you do the math. These other ones are not going to hit these values because they have extremely higher circulating supplies. There are 19 billion Stellar coins out there. They're basically, they call them tokens, another term for the coin game. They call them tokens. And when you have that many, that will never ever hit that amount the same way a coin that has 17 million as opposed to another one has 19 billion. Come on, man. So it's never going to go that way. So your altcoins are definitely good investments. I think that it's a smart idea to look into ones that you like. I think Ethereum is the second best coin to own because of the amount of all these coins. They have to be on their own kind of a grid, so to speak. So there's the ERC20, which is the technical term for the Ethereum blockchain. And I believe, I pulled this up before, that there were 19,000. Oh my God. Excuse me. There's 196,000 tokens on the Ethereum network. So do you understand that right there it's proving its value for what that will hold for the future for Ethereum? There's too many coins that are piggybacking off of Ethereum's technology. By the way, creator of Ethereum, we do know who that is. And he's a freaking cool Russian fucking dude named Vitalik Buterin. Vitalik Buterin. And he's a interesting character, man. He's born in 1994. Russian dude. He likes unicorns. I know that. And he's a pretty fucking cool dude. And you should Google him, man, because he's a smart cookie. So the number 2 coin in the world, we actually do know who created it, and he's a fucking kid, man. All right? Now, we're talking about altcoins, talking about Ethereum, just so you get an idea. Going back to some of the values of this crypto. $11,800 on Bitcoin. Ethereum's worth $300. Ripple's worth 41 cents. But it was once a penny. And when Bitcoin was bubbling up, Ripple was 10 cents. And if you go and look at the people that invented Ripple, and when that Ripple hit $3.40, its top performance level, do you understand how much money they made when they had this? When they invented it, it was like 0.0001 cents. That's fucking nuts. That's nuts. Bitcoin Cash, $429. Litecoin, $119. I'm not a big fan of Litecoin. The thing with Litecoin is that I always felt it was just a Bitcoin clone. I never found it to have any real worthwhileness to it. And then Charlie Lee, who seems like a very sweet guy, God bless him, the creator of Litecoin, he fucking dumped all of his Litecoin at the height of the whole market. And that doesn't sound like somebody who's really backing their product, you know? I didn't find that to be a cool move. So, sorry, dude. A lot of people didn't. Now, one of the cool things about the cryptocurrency market is it's very, very active on Twitter. So you're going to want to get on Twitter to get a lot of information. You're going to get a lot of the street talk. One of the biggest, smartest talkers out there is John McAfee. Now, who's John McAfee? Well, John McAfee is the billionaire software designer who wound up selling his McAfee antivirus software to Microsoft. Billions of dollars. And John McAfee is a huge proponent of the crypto game. And the thing about John McAfee that's interesting, and there's a split theory on this fella, is when John McAfee talks about coins, they go up. And when he shits on coins, they go down. He can sway the market. So here's one of the downsides to the crypto market. Here's something that's going to scare you a little bit. Cryptocurrency is completely unregulated. Okay? Ain't nobody telling anybody what to do in this market. There's no government. There's no taxation, really. It's a Wild West, folks. And with that, price manipulation occurs. And this is the same thing that happens in the stock market. And they try to keep, this is actually illegal in the stock market. It's called a pump and dump. And what happens is it's not cool to unfairly talk up a coin or a company and talk it up, get a bunch of people excited about it, drive the price up, and then you sell all your shit right out from underneath everybody. You cash out and you make it crash because it was worthless in the first place. And some people think that John McAfee does that with coins. He might. You'll never prove it. You'll never prove it because he could invest a whole lot, talk it up on Twitter. Everyone gets excited. He pulls out like a good guy's supposed to do, right? He pulls out and he's left you holding the bag, didn't he? And now you're holding the bag. And you don't want to do that. Migos told you already what you're supposed to do with that bag. Flip it and tumble it. Now, with your altcoins and your Bitcoin, I told you about Coinbase. But there are plenty of other places where you can go and buy crypto on the internet. They're called exchanges. And these exchanges are all over the world. Now, the one I used was Binance. Now, Binance is out of Malta, but it seems to be very heavily Chinese influenced. I believe the CEO is Chinese of the company, so I think they just stationed it in Malta for some particular reason that I never looked into. But Binance is one of the best when you are looking to buy altcoins. When I got into this game, dude, Coinbase was only offering 3 coins, okay? Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, and that was it. You can now get some of these altcoins on Coinbase, and I highly recommend that you do. But if you want to get with some other exchanges, you have exchanges out there like Kraken, Cryptopia, Binance, Bittrex. You've also got, what else we got? Where are those exchanges? Bitfinex, Bithumb. So see, these are some big ones. Bitstamp, big one out of Great Britain. There are, just so you know, how many exchanges. This is actually pretty crazy. I would never have guessed until I saw this the first time that there were that many exchanges, but there are 19,000 markets to buy coins. There's only 2,200 coins. So it's pretty odd that there's that many places to get these, in my opinion. And I wouldn't trust fucking 95% of them. So one of the situations is it is unregulated. So you have to understand that it's a Wild West. You got 2 ways that you can store your cryptocurrency in this Wild West. Okay? You can keep it on your computer, on the exchange, and in the account that you trade on. That's what a lot of people do. That's what most people do because they're kind of lazy. But what people that are really trying to be careful with their crypto do is they put it on a ledger. And there's a nano ledger. Excuse me. A little water. A little hot. There's a nano ledger where you can take your crypto off your exchange and where it's nice and safe, and you can buy a little device that electronically locks your crypto into that, moves it off of the exchange, and now is set at that set value that you have, the amount of coin you have, and now you can carry this around with you, put it in a safety deposit box, anything you want. You have a place for this, and it doesn't have to be on a computer or it can be hackable, whatever. These are not hackable. The downside to these is that you can lose them, but on the same token, they're pretty safe if you're careful. You think good time for a break? All right, folks, we're going to go to break here. We are at the Space Coast Podcast Studios. I'm your Bitcoin bro. Your bro in the know when it comes to crypto. We got more to talk about. We'll be right back.
right, in the studio, breaking news. This guy literally just broke down the door. He's got incredible news. His name is John Adams with the Fix Therapy. John, what's so important? What's going on?
Well, we've got some exciting stuff to talk about.
Well, tell me, what do you have to share?
Well, I've got a brand new podcast coming to you called The Live Life Aware, where we're going to be discussing all kinds of fun topics like biohacking.
Whoa.
Yes. We're going to be talking about integrated medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be talking about some really new hot topics in Florida with medical marijuana and CBD.
I see. Well, that sounds exciting. So what else can the listener expect?
Well, fun facts of the body. Did you know that one red blood cell carries 1 billion oxygen molecules?
That's a lot. I had no idea.
Yeah, so if you looked up into the night sky,
right,
you could take every little star
and
put them on one red blood cell.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. So all kinds of trivia, surprise guests, and things that you're not going to hear about just hanging out in your family practitioner's doctor's office.
Absolutely. We're going to be talking about all the stuff you're not listening or hearing from maybe your general practitioner.
Amazing. All right. Thanks so much, John. Live Life Aware, guys, coming soon from the Space Coast Podcast Studios. Hey there, this is Jesse Hall, and I want to remind you to tune into Business Elite Brevard Edition. And what we do on Business Elite Brevard Edition is bring to you some of the biggest movers and shakers on the Space Coast. These could be industry leaders, tech innovators, and social influencers. And what we do is kind of bring them on, ask them some of the most relevant questions that you may not know about. And these are people who may not be in the news, but they are making moves behind the scenes. Again, tune in. Business Elite Brevard Edition.
Hey, I'm Vinny with the all-new Vinny Marino podcast. I want you to join me every other Monday as we tackle all the craziest headlines from around Florida and truly explore and uncover what's missing. Also, we will invite the exciting guests from our community who have seen it all and aren't afraid to spill the beans about it. And finally, we can't forget about Vinny's top 3 rants and raves about traffic, restaurants, and events. Join us on Facebook as we go live and bring you behind the scenes of each show and let you be a part of it. The Vinny Marino Podcast, all Space Coast, super raw and unedited, straight to your dome all the time, live from the Space Coast Podcast Studios. Listen everywhere you find podcasts.
You're listening to Space Coast Podcast, home of the greatest podcasts on the Space Coast. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or having your own show, email us at spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com.
Space Coast Podcast.
Talk hard!
What's up, brother? You know, a lot of people don't know. I'm rocking the Jimi Hendrix here. A lot of people don't know this. I'm going to let you, by the way, wardrobe change. You see that? I got to tell you, man, that fucking Scully was hot. Whew. All right. Because it's hot in here, man. This is a hot topic, man. This is a fucking... Bitcoin's on fire, dude. So, of course, it's going to be hot in this fucking studio, man. You got to figure that. BitcoinBro ain't stupid. I am your BitcoinBro. We're at the Space Coast Podcast Studios, sunny South Florida. I'm your bro in the know, and when I'm not smoking dro, I'm hodling that crypto. And guess what? What is hodl? Let's talk about a couple of these fun terms. What is hodl? Once I start getting to know more about this stuff, man, I start noticing that like there's all these terms people are using on Facebook and on Twitter and all these crypto terms. What do they mean, bro? Well, obviously you can Google it. But I'm gonna help you out. So hodl, kind of a play on the word hold. Real crypto lovers, real crypto investors. They hold on for dear life. They hodl. There's no selling, there's no jumping. It's like being a fucking cripper of blood, bro. Once you're in fucking crypto, you're in for life. Okay? NWO for life. to wrestling fans. Shout out to Scott Hall. So a hodl is basically it's just an internet term. They've inverted the D and the L for hold, and it's hold on for dear life, man. Real crypto lovers, Bitcoin lovers don't sell. Okay, even when it went from 20 to 3,000, man, they held on for dear life. You got FOMO. Okay, FOMO is fear of missing out. You know, when you see all the green on the charts and you're like, oh my God, man, I'm missing out on making this money. Or when you're, that you sell other shit to buy when you're freaking out, you don't own a coin and you just got to get it. I got to get it, man. You do anything to get it. Like crackhead is. Some people get that way with crypto, man. It becomes an addiction. It's crazy. It's crazy. I've seen it, man. I've seen it. I've seen people do some sick shit for a Bitcoin, dude. Swear to God, man. And then you got FUD, like Elmer Fudd, but this is a FUD with one D. And this FUD stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. FUD's a problem. When I explained to you before how the market can be manipulated with pump and dumps, one of the other problems with this market is that bad news makes it go down. Important people that talk shit about cryptocurrency make it go down. Jamie Dimon did this a couple of times when we were on our original ascent to the moon. Jamie Dimon swore up and down. He don't believe in crypto, by the way. He's a naysayer. He's the head of Chase Bank, by the way. He has something to lose from the crypto market being big. He has something to lose. He is a traditional bankster, wankster. You say you a wankster, but you never cop nothing. But Jamie Dimon interestingly told everybody in the world that his daughter owns a ton of crypto and a ton of Bitcoin. And some people think that he shit on it just so she could get it for cheap. And he probably did because he can, and that would work. Now, you'll hear her talk about whales. They use the term whales in Vegas too, by the way. Big spenders, they call them whales. So in the same thing in the crypto world, the whales move the markets as well. And what I mean by that is, if you got a dude that just took $20 million and invested it in or out of a coin, that's a whale move. All right? A substantial move. And that really happens a lot with the altcoins. When whales move shit into altcoins, people follow. There's a thing, the problem also with this market is that the insider trading, it's not illegal. So anybody can manipulate. You get locked up for inside trading on Wall Street. You can't even work for a company and tell your Aunt Peggy what's about to happen 5 months from now so she can invest in some more stock. You know what I mean, Aunt Peggy? That's criminal. And by the way, Wall Street does that with politicians all the time. Just so you know, politicians don't get in trouble for that. And they get insider information all the time. That's one of the perks about being a politician. Did you know that? It's about getting that inside information from the people that make all the fucking rules, man. They're making the rules, dude. So they're letting them know. Excuse me. So you know about pump and dumps. You can't pump and dump Bitcoin, but you can with the altcoins. You can. A lot of money, dude. A lot of money went on those altcoins up and down. People losing money because they were hoping for the next big thing. If you can imagine, Bitcoin's your safest bet. And it's nothing safe about this. I told you it was a roller coaster already. So then you got your shills. Unsolicited endorsing of a coin. This is where John McAfee comes in again. What coins will he shill for? It's hard to tell. You'll only find out when he puts it on Twitter. There's a lot of people on CNBC they'll talk to about cryptocurrency advice, but you have some of these others out there like Roger Ver. So Roger Ver, he's the gentleman that split from Bitcoin. He's one of the original developers at Bitcoin. And Roger Ver broke off, and he decided that he would start Bitcoin Cash. And Bitcoin Cash kind of runs in it is a more efficient manner than Bitcoin. And he's one of these people that swears up and down that he'll eventually take over Bitcoin because of the perks of how it's used. I personally don't believe that. I believe that he's still the redheaded stepchild of Bitcoin, and that they stole inside secrets and technologies. It's like what Twin Peaks did to Hooters. Hooters was the original breast-restaurant, and yes, that is a term, dude. It's a breast-restaurant. And so if there wasn't enough of one breast-restaurant, we needed more. So the guy from Hooters, actually one of the main guys, I don't know his name, you could look it up. He took all the trade secrets. He actually robbed Hooters of their shit. And he started Twin Peaks. So there was a big fallout, and I think there's lawsuits and shit involved and whatnot. But, yeah, business is a dirty game, folks. People don't fucking care. So that's why you got to make that Bitcoin money, man. So you can stay away from all that negativity. You got Charlie Shrem, another guy who's an influencer. Charlie Shrem, now he's a very interesting character. So Charlie Shrem is a huge Bitcoin advocate. He co-founded BitInstant. He's a founding member of the Bitcoin Foundation. And he did 2 years in prison for aiding and abetting the operation of unlicensed money transmission related to Silk Road. How about that? This guy actually did time. Now, this is an interesting segue here that I'd like to tell you about. Silk Road is how I found out about Bitcoin. You say, hey, Bitcoin bro, how did you find out about Bitcoin? I'm about to tell you. So if you don't know, what is the Silk Road? Silk Road is a dark, dark marketplace on the deep web, dark net. It's where people bought all sorts of shit. Kiddie porn, drugs. You could probably buy a sex slave on there, who knows? You could buy a hitman for hire. It was an illegal marketplace where all transactions were done anonymously, and all of the pay was done anonymously through Bitcoin, through crypto. And Charlie Shrem got tied into that, obviously. And by the way, Silk Road went down. Russ Ulbricht went down for this. That's how I heard about Bitcoin, was that became the currency that the Silk Road marketplace took. And that's where I developed my interest, because I found it very interesting.
right, in the studio, breaking news. This guy literally just broke down the door. He's got incredible news. His name is John Adams with the Fix Therapy. John, what's so important? What's going on?
Well, we've got some exciting stuff to talk about.
Well, tell me, what do you get to share?
Well, I've got a brand new podcast coming to you called the Live Life Aware, where we're going to be discussing all kinds of fun topics like biohacking.
Whoa.
Yes. We're going to be talking about integrated medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be talking about some really new hot topics in Florida with medical marijuana and CBD.
I see. Well, that sounds exciting. So what else can the listener expect?
Well, fun facts of the body. Did you know that one red blood cell carries 1 billion oxygen molecules?
That's a lot. I had no idea.
Yeah, so if you looked up into the night sky,
right,
you could take every little star and put them on one red blood cell.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. So all kinds of trivia, surprise guests, and things that you're not going to hear about just hanging out in your family practitioner's doctor's office.
Absolutely. We're going to be talking about all the stuff you're not listening or hearing from maybe your general practitioner.
Amazing. All right. Thanks so much, John. Live Life Aware, guys, coming soon from the Space Coast Podcast Studios.
Are you new to a leadership position? Are you finding it hard to deal with certain personalities in a workplace? Maybe you're trying to reshape your organizational culture to increase your retention, your readiness, as well as your performance of your individuals on your team. Hi, I'm Stephon Williams with Highbull Leadership and Development Training. I welcome you to contact me to kind of explore some things that we can do to help you with your people needs. We're in the business of human capital performance on the professional side as well as the personal side. If you're looking for a motivational speaker to open up your convention, contact StephonWilliams.com. If you're looking for someone that's going to help you redefine your own personal leadership style, contact StephonWilliams.com. If you're just looking to take your team to the next level, contact StephonWilliams.com, and that is STEPHON Williams.com. Highbull Leadership Development Training. We look forward to seeing, hearing, and working with you.
Steven,
Why, yes, Christopher.
what are you doing?
I am scribing down some ideas for the next podcast of the Black Dog Confessional.
Oh, Mitzi had spoke of that. She said it is rather wonderful.
Well, we tried to succeed, Christopher. We tried to succeed. We're talking about all the proper etiquette techniques that we can this week.
Do you think everyone is listening?
I definitely believe so, Christopher.
Well, if they're not, they better get on the game!
Hey, make sure you check out Space Cowboy Justice with your hosts, Blake Stewart and Paul Daly. We're going to be talking about interesting legal issues in the entertainment industry and everything geek. If you're into Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, comic books, we're talking about it. Coming at you from the Space Coast Podcast Studios.
Hey, smart people. Because you got to be smart to even be listening to this show. No dummies allowed. Join me every week, Mr. Josh W. on the Mr. Josh W. podcast. You're going to hear me rant and rave about politics, current events, social media and SJWs, sports, cryptocurrency, sex, 420 and CBD culture. Hell, we can even talk about how your grandma won bingo 3 times yesterday. And good for her. She deserves it. She plays a lot. We'll even have interviews, panel discussions, and the occasional game show. Now you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube under Mr. Josh W. You spell that out, MisterJoshW. Very easy to find. And all this good stuff is coming to you live from the Space Coast Podcast Studios in sunny Florida. need headphones, bro. I apologize, folks. I had an emergency phone call situation, a little bit of a family conundrum there. So we're going to cut this podcast a little short because I got to go take care of a situation on the home front with the dogs. You know what I'm saying, man. I'm a dog lover, dog owner, not just your Bitcoin bro, but I'm also the dog bro as well. But I'm your Bitcoin bro, dudes, the bro in the know. And when I'm not smoking dro on hodling that crypto, we're going to do more podcasts like this. This was a big one. We jumped in. I probably went a little fast. I jumped around on a lot of topics. Blockchain, Bitcoin, altcoins, FOMO and FUD, hodling that coin. We went over exchanges. We went over a lot of stuff. All right? So you got a good primer. I'm not telling you have to put your money into Bitcoin. But what I am telling you is you should give it a look and a consideration. If you got cash that's sitting in savings and it's just sitting there, this is something you may want to do. Take $1,000. Just take $1,000 and have fun watching it grow. Put some into Bitcoin, put a little in some altcoins. Put it all into Bitcoin if you really want to see some movement. It's up to you. We're going to sign out here because I told you I got to bounce, but once again, we're at the Space Coast Podcast Studios. You know my boy, the Mr. Josh Podcast. You can go to MisterJoshPodcast.com, hear all that. That's where you're going to hear this as well. We're signing off, man. Jesse behind the ones and twos always does a great job. We're sponsored by CBDapedia.com, Pure Clear Hemp, SFL.media. Check out Ruthless Politics, man. My boy, Kid Chronic and Trees, talking all that shit about politics. You know I don't give a shit about that stuff, man. You know that, man. Here we go, bro. To the moon.